The blowtorch being applied right here. Simpkin goes to Brooks, diving for the ball, getting there first, big Luciano Leilua.
We were in control for a real good start of that first half, and it then just turned on us. The game's momentum is shifting very quickly, and within 10 minutes all of a sudden we're found ourselves behind the pace.
Steps away from Dewey, still going Schuster. Daly Cherry Evans on the inside, and over he goes. Turbo Tom finds Daly Cherry Evans on the inside, and he'll race away for 2 tries in 2 minutes. And here's more room.
Oh no!
Tom Drabojevic, Daly Cherry Evans, Marty Tapau.
3 tries in the first half, back to back, really cost us. And then our defence is just not there today. So yeah, it's disappointing.
Zola Kalatu straight into a hole with Tom Drabojevic in the middle. He's gone. No one's going to get near Turbo Tom. Now Tapau, Foran, Schuster, Tom Drabojevic gets it away. Beautiful to watch. The Sea Eagles running right on Anzac Day.
Our attitude wasn't there. We come here today, we just didn't turn up, so it's disappointing.
And Jake sends it right for Daly Cherry Evans to kick, looking for the height of Saab, and finding the height of Jason Saab. Cusks. Daly Cherry Evans, numbers galore, a huge hole, and look at Kieran Foran scoot over.
I'll make the right decisions around what we have available. We've got a very strong group underneath coming through too. I've got some really good performers there, but I'll make the right calls on what I see right to move forward.
Yeah, James Hooper, you wrote about the poorly performing West Tigers online at Fox Sports today. What's your assessment? How close is Michael Maguire to losing his job?
Oh, no question the knives are out, Ben. The Tigers are fortuitous. They've got a reasonably easy draw over the course of the next month, if there is such a thing. The Dragons, the Gold Coast, Newcastle, the Warriors, and St George Illawarra again.
That could also work against him.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, the Tigers obviously jumped on the front foot last night because there was a report that there was a crisis meeting, all the board had been summoned in, there was going to be an immediate review called of Michael Maguire. Their chairman was very strong. I know you spoke to him, Buzz. I spoke to him as well, Lee Hadjipantelis. He said that is not factual, nil truth, that is not happening. But Blind Freddie can tell you, if it doesn't turn around really fast here, he's won 19 out of 51 games over the course of the last 3 seasons.
But just to follow on from that, when speaking with the chairman, surely he flagged some major concerns with how the team's performing. And off the back of that, I'm asking, what have the board indicated that they're going to do about it?
Well, they indicated to me that as of last night, his job was not in danger. But these things can turn very quickly, and we've just spoken about the easy draw. And if they are to lose a couple of games, they're in big trouble.
Madge is in big trouble.
Yeah, Madge is in big trouble. Do you blame Madge? Do you blame Justin Pascoe, the chief executive, the fact there's been no proper strategic plan for a long period of time, that they haven't developed out at Campbelltown? We've seen champions come out of that area, Tedesco, Folau, Jared Hayne. They're building a high-performance centre, Kenty, in Concord. Why aren't they doing what Penrith did, setting up elite junior pathways in a growth area like Campbelltown? The other person who cannot escape criticism is Ivan Cleary for the manner in which he left this club. I looked at a record of a few players he signed. Josh Reynolds, $800K a year, 22 games in 3 years. Moses Mbai, averaging 12 games a year. Russell Packer, in 4 years, 33 games of football. Now, is that Madge's fault? Should Madge get sacked because of previous recruitment?
It's not Madge's fault, and they can't. I think that's what's brought in some leeway here, Buzz. And my understanding is he's not going to get sacked at the moment, but this is how it begins. And I think Michael Maguire is more than aware of that. That once you start hearing about the crisis meetings and stuff that you guys got the same information. There was no actual crisis meeting. There was obviously some concerns, and they're terribly upset. But this is where it begins. So, Madge has got to sit down and go back to his time at South Sydney, where the rumours started. And at the time, first time coaches ever get sacked, they don't want to believe it. They don't. That's just external talk. Don't worry about it. But this is where it begins, and he's got to get on top of this very quickly, and the club's got to get on top of this very quickly. And he has got some time, but he doesn't have a lot of time now.
To your point, this is a crisis, and it deserves a meeting.
Well, to your question,
they need to plan their way out of it.
earlier about the power brokers at the club, Ben, rightfully there are questions being asked in that respect because it was only the back end of last year, I think it was December, Madge was awarded a 2-year extension. So he signed this season plus 22 plus 23. Now, the one area where they were smart, there is an exit fee where it will cost the club 1 year of his contract, so around the $600,000 mark if they do decide to part ways with him. But clubs aren't made of money these days. That's still not lying around the petty cash.
Yeah, I know that, Perce, but this is the problem with West. To Buzz's point, there's no strategic plan out there. So nobody can look at West and really figure out what they're trying to work towards. Are they trying to get old guys in to give it experience, or are they building have they got like a youth program there? It's hard to tell. Second, Michael Maguire's the 5th coach in 9 years. Now, if you're going through the coach at such a rate of knots, clearly it's not the coach that's the problem.
Can I tell you, there is a strategic plan. You can go out there
it's not
and
a very
the power
good one.
brokers...
It's not a very good one.
I'm just telling you that, right?
I think I might be able to...
Well, I'm telling you it's not.
Okay, I'm just saying, they have got a plan, right? Have a look at this list, right? We had a look at this today. James Tedesco, Josh Addo-Carr, Ryan Pappenhausen, Mitchell Moses, Aaron Woods, Andrew Fafita, Nathan Brown, Benji twice, Benji Marshall, Marty Tapau, Robbie Farah, Curtis Sirinen, Junior Totola and Chris Hynington.
Well, what's their plan?
There's 13 players that have left that club over the course of the last decade, and look at what's been brought in to replace them.
And can I just jump in here, because I don't think Madge should be sacked right now, but there is a problem with his ability to attract players.
Which is not an elite junior issue. It is a senior.
It's a combination.
It's a senior roster management issue. They have had some of the best young juniors come through their system, but for whatever reason, they haven't valued them. They haven't developed them. They've gone to other clubs, and that includes a 36-year-old Benji Marshall who looked as though he was on the scrap heap last year. He's playing like he's.
There's seven
Can I
local
ask you why they're not
juniors on that
talking to
list.
Adam Reynolds now?
Because he's off with Madge, you know that.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to make that point. Madge has got a problem attracting players. Latrell Mitchell was offered nearly $300,000 a year, more than South offered him to go to the West Tigers. He knocked it back. Josh Addo-Carr had the choice of Canterbury or West Tigers. He knocked Madge back.
So what's the fix? I mean, this was the Sharks issue, right? They believe that John Morris couldn't attract players because right now they need to strengthen their senior list, get quality players into the joint to start winning football games. And so are we thinking here that Michael Maguire is not the coach to make that happen?
Dare I say, I think it's a 5-year plan scenario, Kenty. Well, I do. I do.
But how does that work?
I'll tell you how it works. You bring in someone like Wayne Bennett, which won't happen because he's going home to Brisbane, or someone like Phil Gould, or someone like Shane Flanagan, or get Madge to jump aboard with this, and you do these long-term goals. You move to Campbelltown, you throw
Hardigan from the Roosters, who have done a brilliant job at recruitment and retention. So I thought, well, let's get him out and get him over in our club and see the job he could do. And he, to be fair, he's unable to deliver so far.
Well, why is he unable to deliver, Kenty?
Well, I don't know, but he was the bloke that's supposed to fix all that, as to your point of what you're saying. And look, I get the whole...
Do you agree they should be in Campbelltown?
Listen, if you want to attract the best players in the NRL, I have to say, Buzz, you want your headquarters at Concord. You don't want it at Campbelltown. You can have a junior academy. You can have a junior academy out there, but in terms of where you base your NRL club, Concord would be much more appealing. No offence to the Campbelltown people, by the way.
What's so special about Concord? Rugby league juniors don't exist.
It's location though, Buzz.
Oh, it doesn't. You don't have to be near the big end of town to attract players.
I don't like the idea of it, but Campbelltown is rugby league heartland.
You need an academy set up there where every kid like Falau,
you look at all the gun kids.
Mate, the majority of players
James Tedesco, Chris Lawrence,
a lot closer to Concord than they will be to Campbelltown.
Have we solved anything here? Because we're all calling for the 5-year plan.
The other criticism of Madge, in the more immediate, is that the game's evolved a hell of a lot since he won that comp at Souths in 2014, and what the directors of the club are asking other people within the game is, has Madge evolved at the equal speed of
It's a good question, and now the responsibility of the board, because I said this about John Morris. If there are 10 things you need today to be a great coach, the job of the board is to identify which of those 10 things Madge is getting right. If he's getting 6 right, because we know he's won a comp, there's more good in Madge than there is bad, then your job as a board is to help him develop and adapt so he continues to tick those other boxes.
Yeah, but can I just say something? In that little piece that we just showed there, you had Luke Brooks sit there and say, disappointing, quote, we just didn't turn up. This is 2 weeks after they didn't turn up against the Cowboys. Like, come on. When are the players going to start sitting there and actually putting a little bit on their own shoulders and say, you know what, guys, we're the problem here. We're the ones that fix it. They had a crack last week. What they did last week, I wrote this last week. What they did last week would be irrelevant if they didn't go and have a crack against Manly. And look what happened.
That's on coach and senior players to drive that in a footy team.
But it's like the Broncos. It's not about St George next weekend or the Gold Coast the following weekend. It's about long-term strategic plan to bring in Campbelltown.